Ultracycling magazine. And the show we...
Lee Kreider here with a editor's notebook on Ultracycling magazine. I thought I'd put this header in. I decided to record Jane Janousek and Tracy Achelis, who raced in the 70 to 79 age group at the World Time Trial Championships, raced against each other, to record a 2 or 3 minute clip for the show. When they came on, I just turned the recording on and let it run. Their chat between each other, which went on for about 9 minutes, was too good just to make a clip for the show, so I decided to make a full video. These delightful women just chatted about their race and their admiration for each other. Tracy set a record for that age group of 274.8 miles. Jane did 166.8, but that wasn't enough for Jane. Despite the wind and everything, she came back the next day and raced in the 6-hour race as well. So enjoy this chat.
It was still running. So I have no idea what my stats are, but I had every intention of going back out, but it didn't work out. So I left my Garmin running unexpectedly.
Yeah.
But anyway, congratulations. You did so beautifully, despite everything. I can't believe the wind, the dust. The conditions were not ideal at all. And so to have done what you did.
I was kind of my understanding that when we get fairly mild temperatures at night, like we did, that we can get some wind during the day, and that seems like what we got. I went through the first century in 6.5 hours. I thought I easily could ride over 300 because that's 3 8-hour centuries, and that's very doable for me. But after the first century, I started having some stomach problems, and I have a sponsor, F2C Nutrition, which usually works really well for me because it doesn't have sugar in it, and that can cause some GI issues. So I don't really know, what happened, but I kept stopping at the van, which my plan was to stay on the bike as much as possible. And I kept stopping more and more frequently at the van, and it was to the point where I couldn't even sit up in the van. I literally had to lay down and wait for my body to recover. My urine was dark orange. It burned. I was severely dehydrated, and I knew that, I wouldn't finish the race if I didn't take the time to recover. And Vinny tried everything, and I'd go out and I'd feel pretty good for most of the lap, and then my stomach would start bothering me again, and then I actually kind of start right after I headed out for my last lap. Right after I headed out on the bike, Vinny said that they called short loop. So it was only myself and one other girl. I guess people were walking, and I didn't walk, but we were the only two out there. So while people were logging miles, although there was dust, the wind wasn't anything. I was riding 5 miles an hour directly into a headwind.
Yeah.
So, the short loop was dusty, but the winds weren't near as bad as, what we had out there. So, like I said, I'm happy that I hung in there and did the best I could, but the outcome wasn't what I wanted, but I'm still happy. So.
You set a good record there that's going to stand for a while, I'll bet. Congratulations.
How did you feel?
I have been living, the winds haven't stopped here in Southern California all week. So, thank goodness for Kleenex. I actually had to stop several times during the ride. I was trying to pull Kleenexes out of my pockets, and it was tough. That south section there where it's 2 miles right into the wind. I just kind of put my head down and was watching my Garmin. I pretty much had the landmarks set as to what the mileage was. So every once in a while I would, just play head games with myself. Okay, every 30 strokes, I'm going to look up and see where I am. And so it was just a matter of, staying as low as possible. I was afraid to let go of the hand,
Yeah, I stopped to drink and took a picture of the flags. I took a movie of the flags. I'm like, I got to record this. This is wild. At
it
that
was
point,
it
I
was
didn't
pretty tough.
matter. Yeah.
But even the people who, everybody I think was going about 5 miles an hour on that one. But then you take a right turn and head down a little bit of a downslope. And so you normally would get a break. And instead, you're holding on for dear life because of the crosswinds at that point. And luckily, the winds were blowing in such a way that if they blew you off the road, it would be away from traffic, because by the afternoon there was traffic coming along there on Borrego Springs Road. Um, but yeah, it was tough. And then I did one short loop and then took that short break, and I thought I was going to get right back on the bike, and it had just it grown. And the fact that they cut the course, the race short to half hour says a lot. To their credit, though, there were 3 men who were over 500 miles,
Mm-hmm.
and one team. And then the top woman had 488 miles. She
Yeah.
came so close. So, there were a few people who, despite all the challenges, did really, really well. They also cut the long loops short on Sunday. I did the 6 hour, and they did the same thing. It was a little bit more calm in the morning, and then, boy, at 11 o'clock, bing, the winds start kicking in. And so we were going through sandstorms. I would see the cyclist in front of me go into the dust and sand, and I couldn't see him.
Yeah.
And so I had no idea how deep this thing was. Just keep moving, keep moving. And so yeah, it was quite a challenge. But I guess these are the things that you can't control, though.
Yeah.
And there were so many things. Joe Lawhorn, um, came from Ohio, intending to do great things with his fixed gear bike, and he had a video showing of, he lifted his bike up and the bike went flying. I mean, it was that bad.
Yeah.
So, and that's the sort of thing that the race directors can't control. And every
Yeah.
year is a different thing to, it's something everybody lived through during that
Yeah,
year.
I think from a
Yeah.
safety standpoint, because people were walking, though I didn't see the people walking because I was kind of out there by myself. But I think from a safety standpoint, they made the right call. But I also think that for people that were, maybe close to setting a record or were feeling really, really great on the short loop, that half an hour could have cost them a place.
Yes,
But I know
I
their judgment
wish.
call was based on safety, and I admire the race directors for doing what they feel is right because they put on an excellent race. I felt very safe. Oh,
How are you doing back home again, now that you are back in your home?
yeah. It's nice to be back. The drive was long. They're slowly starting to clean up, but there's just a lot of lumber on the side of the road. There's so many down trees across the street from us. Had 19 down trees, so there's nowhere to stack that on the road, and the trees are so big that it just takes like flatboat trucks to get them out. But the private organizations have been hired to help clean up what the city doesn't have the manpower to do. So they are really doing an excellent job. I don't know because I haven't been as far as the Red Cross is at the fairgrounds, which is only a couple miles from our house. But since we've been home, we haven't been by there to know whether they're still housing people or not. But the sadness are the people that, were either homeless or were in trailers and were not financially stable prior to this. And so, the devastation for them, like they're asked, where are they going to go? And their response is kind of like, well, I have nothing. I have nowhere else to go. So that's sad, but it's the South, and the community pulls together, and neighbors help one another. And, we'll all get through this, and Asheville will recover. But it definitely was a sad thing to say, because it was a beautiful community before it got wiped out. But we'll rally. We'll get back there.
Wish you all the best.
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.